Hi, everybody. It's almost 2 o'clock in the afternoon on a Tuesday. I believe it's Tuesday. Sometimes I lose track. I've had some time, I have a little bit of free time here and thought I'd, break the monotony of working and maybe address you guys for a while and talk to you and chat to my YouTube friends over a cup of coffee. Um, just random thoughts that I have. We all love guitar. That's why we're here, or music in some shape or form. And I think that's why we're all here, is because we have that passion to learn. So I guess what I really want to say is, no matter where you are in your journey, don't quit. Keep doing it. Keep loving it. Especially when you feel time stops when you're doing it. The moment I hold one of these, time stops. It's amazing how I wish this was my job, because, and I know it's different, but it's like this is probably what all these geniuses, Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, all these very highly successful people, this is probably what they experience when they're doing what they do. Bill Gates probably, every time he went into a computer or whatnot, time stood still. You did this, Apple guy, Steve Jobs. You probably would have to threaten them to go to bed because it was time to go to bed and you needed to rest and you hated it. And that's what I feel about this. But with me, it's a hobby, and there's pros and cons of feeling that way. The analogy is good, with the Steve Jobs and Bill Gates. The example is not, because of the term we call noodling, right? Yes, I can spend times, I've spent up to a whole day with the guitar, but not really progressing toward something, you know. And we all have that. And so I have what you call guitar learning attention deficit disorder. I don't mean that to be funny. I think I do. I'll jump on one lesson and then something will intrigue me. Oh, let's do this jazz lesson. And I'm doing the jazz lessons. I go for a cup of coffee. I come back. All of a sudden, oh, I want to learn chicken picking. Whoa, where did that come from, right? And then in the middle of chicken picking, it's time to go to dinner. So you eat dinner, you come back. Now you're like, oh my God, look at that. John McCain just posted, this is amazing, this Baroque thing. I'm gonna do it. So I'm a starter of a lot of things until I get to a mediocre place and then I stop. So a lot of you might be wondering, oh man, Chris, he knows he knows some rock, he knows some jazz, and that's it. It's some. It's only now that I'm really forcing myself to learn something, namely jazzy improv and chord melody. I bundle those as one. That's when I say jazz, that's what I mean in terms of how I see for me. And then now flamenco, and then I love Baroque music. I've never been able to play it. And John, thank you, because you've given me that opportunity to learn it in your channel. Basics for Baroque, music. Really important to me. So I'm doing that too on the side. But at least I have direction now. And hopefully I get to a higher place than what I am in this genres, of playing. But don't get don't get discouraged if you listeners out there happen on this video and you're just beginning to learn guitar. It's not hard. It's not difficult to learn guitar. Remember what Segovia said. Segovia was a famous classical guitarist from Spain. He probably brought classical guitar up in the classical scene, at the time. And he couldn't have said it better. The guitar is the easiest instrument to play, but the hardest to master. You think about that, how true that is. When I first picked up the guitar, I did not know that in these fretboards were a bunch of notes that repeated themselves. Why? Because instead of learning notes to learn how to play guitar, you just jumped into chords. And without even knowing what intervals there were, no music theory, rhyme, or rhythm behind it, no pun intended, but just playing. And so you go to campfires and you did. Just to give you an idea, the first song I ever learned, I was, I think, 12. 9 to 12, I was already playing guitar, but the first song I ever learned from start to finish was only two chords. And it was America's A Horse with No Name. They don't sound quite like this, but it's close, you know. E minor, it's open chords, E minor, A7. And that was it. You can get away with that. They put a spin to it, but you can get away with that just doing the... On the first part of the journey, I was looking at all the life. There were rocks and things. Into the desert on a horse with no name. And it's great to be out of the rain. In the desert, you can't remember your name, because there ain't no one there to give you no pain. La 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 la. So you see, the whole song is that. The whole song is that. And boy, people that did not know how to play guitar, imagine I was 12. In wherever place I played him, and man, he's good. He knows, because there's only two. There's only two, right? And the America, they sing it a lot better than that. I mean, they play the notes a lot better than that. That's the dog crying because he wants to go in. If you can hear that, stay, Kalua, stay. So, you know, I encourage you to continue your journey just the way I am. You know, some of you may think that, you know, I know quite a lot about guitar, and to be honest with you, I consider myself a late stage beginner and then entry level intermediate. And that's being a little bit strict on myself, because to me an intermediate guitarist has one hell of a already a vast chord vocabulary. I have a little, you know, a chord vocabulary, but you need more, I think, for that, especially now that I'm getting into theory. So please know that the learning continues, you know. You don't learn, you don't stop learning, and you don't stop your journey till you're kaput. You know, another famous thing is Duke Ellington. I think I shared this with you guys before. In specifically for jazz, he says, just when you're learning jazz, just when you say, "Oh, I got this now," the next day you die. Very dark. I think I mentioned that in one of my posts, and recently just, you know, bought a book on upper extensions. I was discussing this with you, John, the other day, where, you know, again, examples. This is just fun to me. I mean, other people hate books, but these things, they're just fun to me. I mean, I may not, you know, I'll never get through this in my lifetime, but I do what I can, you know. I go with it. I just do it. And for the flamenco thing, I'm looking forward for my first class tomorrow. I'll keep you guys updated. I'm still working on my jazz. I'm enthusiastic. Time stops when I get this, and already now I'm feeling lonely because I'll have to end this because I have to go back to work. But just know that if you are into music, if you are trying to learn a guitar or any instrument whatsoever, you're in a better place than most folks. Because, man, there's nothing better than, as far as I'm concerned, nothing better than this. Phone's ringing. Gotta get it. You all have a good Tuesday, rest of Tuesday.